So guys, today I'll be telling you and providing you the proof that Tomato Town is one of the best spots to land in solos and duos in Fortnite Battle Royale. First and foremost, its position. 90% of the time you are in the circle, which is good for looting and planning out your strategy for that match. Secondly, its position is fairly good as well. Not a lot of big towns are around, but good places for one or two people to get loot. For example, the container shipping place, which is slightly north, southeast of Tomato Town. Also, there's the new place, Risky Reels, which is really good for loot, and you can actually surprise a couple of people when they're coming back from that place. And there's Wailing Woods, which is you wouldn't actually go in the middle of it. You would go on the outskirts, where you can find a couple of chests. And retail is also not that far away, so that's also an option. Thirdly, the loot is pretty good, and the farmable materials you can get on the around this place is phenomenal for a small area like this. Basically, you can get 3 pallets in the city, and there's a ton of cars inside the city too. On the outskirts, a bit on the hill above Tomato Town, there are probably farmable 2,000 rocks and around 500 wood also. Also, a plus is that the city you can get up to 5 chests. It doesn't seem that much, but there's a lot of loot on the ground. And when I say 5 chests, I am counting the tunnel too. But there's also the bridge east of Tomato Town, which can have a chest. And there's also the 2 houses slightly north of Tomato Town, where you can also get 2 chests, or 3 maybe. So that would be around 10 chests, just in this small area. And when you're finished looting with Tomato Town, you can of course go to Risky Reels. And if the circle is closer to Tomato Town, so if it's on the edge of Tomato, you can actually wait for the people that are going to the circle. Probably they're going there your way, so you can wait for them and surprise them when they're coming back. For example, Ender Cakers has really good loot, but not a lot of farmable materials. And this has everything. I have a certain strategy that I have established and figured out it's actually the best. On the background video you can see if you're playing solos, I recommend you go to the tunnel. You have the best chance to find weapons and ammo and gear to basically start the game off. And if somebody lands on top of it, because on top of it is the best way, so you can loot all the way down. If you land down, you have to climb up. And that's not that practical. So the best way is to farm to land. Go through the tunnel where you can find basically 3 weapons, or usually I find 2 weapons and a pile of ammo. And then you continue down the tunnel. You go to the secret room, where you can also find 2 chests and an ammo box. And also in the main tunnel, you can also find like 3 places where loot spawns, so even more ammo and weapons. In the video you saw, I found 5 weapons, and there wasn't even there was 1 chest, I think, in the video. So that's really good for such a small place. Then basically you continue on to the outside of the tunnel, but the outside towards Tomato Town. And there you can chop down 3 trees, but I recommend 2 on your left side. Yeah, you're gonna see them in this video. And 1 rock. And that gets you a bit of material, so you're ready for the fight. Because a lot of people that are coming out of the house don't usually have materials. And that's about another thing. I'm talking about solos now. So when you go to the tunnel, you win the battle of the tunnel. There's probably people fighting in the city, but I recommend you to stay focused towards the house, because most of the time people that are going from the house to the city, they're not even paying attention to the tunnel, and you can basically shoot them and kill them from there. in the last clip, you saw me kill that guy with the deagle. He was confused. He didn't know what was going on. Yeah, he was pretty bad, but still. He didn't know what to do. And that kind of makes an element of surprise. And for duos, if I recommend like this. One of your friends or you go to the tunnel, one goes to the house. When you guys loot all of that, meet in the middle. There's 2 rocks in the middle of Tomato Town and the house. And there you can basically... That's where the most of the fights are had, actually. That's when I fight over there, at those 2 rocks. And yeah, it's basically like that. So if you win that, you can go see which loot people missed in the town, because most of the time people missed there are 2 or 3 ammo boxes. There's one in the gas station, there's one on top of a trailer. I destroyed that one in this video, I think, accidentally. And also a plus with the added apples they put in the game. It makes Tomato Town even better, because I think almost no apples spawn on the west side of the map, because there's only pine trees over there, and apples don't spawn on pine trees. So it makes Tomato Town even better, because there's a lot of pine trees around there, and you basically find at least a couple of apples. And I find a couple of them in this video, which helps me, but in the end I died because I didn't have any shields. But yeah, it makes Tomato Town even better. Also, there's 2 vending machines basically around it. There's one inside of it, close to the ammo box where on the trailer, and there's another one outside of the tunnel. I don't know if they removed that. No, they didn't. They didn't remove that one. It's still inside the game. I didn't see it a long time. But you should guarantee getting at least one vending machine. The other one is outside the tunnel, but on the other side, so towards Dusty Depot or Dusty Divot. Dusty Depot, what's left of it. Yeah, and if you didn't get enough loot, there's always the bridge, Risky Reels, Wailing Woods. If you don't have enough materials, don't complain. There's materials all around you. Just go chop down some trees, cut down some rocks, and that's it. If you need more ammunition, which sometimes, yeah, you do need quite more ammunition, because in Tomato Town I happen to find I'll waste a lot of ammo. But so just go to the container shipping place. Most of the time, when you win Tomato, there's still people looting that place, because it takes at least 2 or 3 minutes for 2 people to loot the container shipping place, because it's confusing. It's bundled up. It's basically like a maze, so it's confusing, really. So you can get more ammo there, weapons if you want, and then you can... probably the first circle has also closed in, so you can continue down to retail and finish off what's left of there, because by that time the fight of retail should be over and the people should be really injured. That's basically my reason. In duos it's a bit of a... It's almost the same story. Back in the day, in like October, November and December, Tomato Town was the place where you wanted to go to win. It was just like that. It was too easy. You would, if you won the battle there, you had everything, almost everything. I don't remember going a lot to Tomato Town back in the day, but I love Tomato Town. It's just one of the best places to land ever. It's also not too populated. In solos, you will always get a bit more people landing here, because it's a smaller area. Some people say there isn't enough loot for duos, but I think the contrary. There is enough loot. If you get good chest spawns, of course. And I think, I didn't check the house in this match, but I think the loot did spawn really well. But also squads, no, it's not good for squads. That's the only problem. But solos and duos, it dominates. Position, loot uh, almost always in the circle, which is like basically like the position, and it's just Tomato Town, and it's perfect in almost every sense. If you still don't think it's really good, try going there at least 10 games. You will find my route, which I just told you, is one of the best places, one of the best routes you can take on on the whole map. It almost always works. The only downside to Tomato Town, sometimes there isn't enough shields. So in this match, I there was no shields left. Nobody actually had shields. Only one or two guys that I fought, I think, had shields, and that's the problem, kinda. That the people that are coming out of Wailing Woods and Risky Reels almost always have shields, but you will, like 60% of the time you have shields. Those 40, yeah, you have to kind of make do with what you have, but yeah, that was stupidity right there. But all in all, I think the Tomato Town is the best, and that's my reasons. Tell me down in the comment section below. That's it, guys, and I'll see you later.